This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's a unit called Equations Review, and it's the 5th unit. And it's the 8th lesson within that called Absolute Value Equations Practice. It's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. You might have to Google creatormath.weebly.com to find the website. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. So I typically try to model how to find those notes since it's not that easy. Alright, so you are looking for this website, creatormath.weebly.com. Type that into Google. If it's working right, I hope it is, you're going to get to this home page. Okay, that's how you know you're at the right site. If you have any questions about the composition book, you guys, because it's a big part of my class and you're putting notes in that comp book almost every class, scroll down until you see the words composition book. There it was right there. Okay, follow these directions. There's a picture of one. Watch all of these videos, adhere to these turn-in dates, and follow these directions of what to put where. And as long as you're putting notes on the right pages too, you should have a 90 to 100% on that comp book. Let's go to the tab of the class of the video we're making. And this is where you're going to find all the video lessons, all of the practice sets, all of the notes, and of course the vocabulary. So please be aware there's a vocabulary Algebra 1 practice study PDF. It's got every vocabulary word we will use for the entire school year. Download it to your device. It is searchable. Then Google how do I search a PDF for the device you're using. It is a little bit different for different devices. Then I'm going to find the semester we're in for the video that we're making right now. This is semester 2. Here's the table of contents. You should have long ago copied every line of this table of contents into your pages 2 through 6 of your composition book. If you haven't already, please stop what you're doing and do it now. There's videos back on the home page where we just were on how to number your pages and examples of A+ composition books that you can use to examine to see how to make yours just right also. Okay, so we're going to scroll down to the unit that we're in. And here's the unit here, Equations Review. This is lesson number 8. These are all lesson numbers here. So lesson number 8 looks like variables on both sides of the equation. Nope. Lesson number 8 is, there it is, absolute value equations. Here are the page numbers that the notes go on in your comp book. Please don't use this video to find the page numbers, but find the original table of contents at the time you're viewing this video, because by the time you do view this video, these page numbers probably will have changed. Here are the notes. Here's the problem set we're going to go over now, and the video when we're done will be linked here. So let's look at the notes. Oftentimes you have to open this twice. Mine opened the first time, it'll be able to expand. This one's talking about absolute value. Here's an absolute value symbol, 2 bars on either side of a number or a variable. Here, this is absolute value of 5 is 5, absolute value of -5 is 5. What happens in an absolute value? Yes, everything does end up positive, but there's a reason for that. The reason is more appropriately understood from the definition. So, absolute value definition, the distance between the number and 0 on the number line. So, in other words, if we're at 0 here and we're -5 down here on the number line, how far is -5 from 0? It's 5 away. Negative in this case is a direction. It has nothing to do with magnitude. So the magnitude or distance from the 0 is 5. That's what an absolute value is asking. How far is -5 from 0 on the number line? It's 5 away. That's why you end up with a positive every time. All right. Here's some illustrations on how to do the problems. Please copy these into your comp book. You're going to need that as background. And I'm going to go straight into the problem sets and show you how to do some. This is a review unit, so you should probably know how to do these from last semester, but if not, that's what we're trying to pick up and see if we can fill in some gaps here. So what's the symbol for absolute value, right? The symbol is 2 vertical bars. So 2 vertical bars, for example, the absolute value of -6 is bar, -6 bar. This means absolute value of -6, right? That's the symbol, 2 vertical bars, or lines, 2 vertical lines or 2 vertical bars. What's the definition of absolute value? It's the distance from 0 on the number line. So if you have a -6, right, here's 0, here's -6. How far is this? It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Doesn't matter which direction we went when it comes to absolute value. We just want to know the magnitude. Negative is a direction. It stands for going to the left from 0, but we don't care. We want to know its distance from the number line. Okay? Distance from 0 on the number line. Distance from 0 on the number line, right? That's what it is. Which of the following is the absolute value of x? So this is the absolute value of x, just an x with 2 bars on it. That means what's the absolute value of x? Given -4, what does the negative mean? Negative is a direction. Okay, so direction, to the left on a horizontal number line. So here's a number line. If I said go to -4, the 4 is how far you go. The negative is to the left. That's what negative means in terms of our numbering system and a number line in our convention. So this would be -4 here. If I told you go +4, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. The magnitude would be 4 again, but now you'd go to the right to get to +4. So the signs here, negative and positive, are directions. Tells you left or right. Okay, solve the equation 7x equals 28. So you get, let's drop this down and say 7x equals 28. There's one example, but inside here this could have been negative. We don't know if it is, so we have to solve 2. We have to do 7x and put a minus on it, or a negative, and solve it 2 ways. So we're going to divide by 7, x equals 4. We're going to divide by -7, divide by -7, x equals -4. So 2 answers, 4 and -4. Now we write it right here. Plus minus 4 means x equals +4 and x equals -4. 2 answers. Okay, that's what this means, and that's what they're showing right here. X equals +/4. 2 answers. All right, solve the equation. So we're going to solve 2 things. We're going to do x over 2 equals 4, positive, and we're going to also assume that it could have been negative because we don't know. So we solve 2 and get 2 answers that this could be. Multiply both sides by 2, and x equals 8. Multiply both sides by -2, because we want to get rid of the negative on this side. Negative times negative is positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so you're left with x on the left. And you're equal to -8. So this actually equals a -8 and a +8, or x equals ±8. All right, now it gets a little bit more complicated, but the same thing we're going to do. We have -2x plus 7 equals 1. We're going to solve that. Notice it's exactly as it's written, but we dropped the absolute value sign. Also, it could have been negative, so let's put a negative on -2x plus 7 equals 1. And let's multiply. This is like multiplying the negative here and the negative here, like distributing a -1 times both these. Negative times negative is positive, so it turns into 2x. Negative times positive is negative, so it turns into -7 equals 1. We're not multiplying across the whole equation. We're only multiplying across this expression because that's what within the absolute value lines or bars, and that's what shows us that this is the thing that could be negative. Negative means it could switch to a positive 2x and a -7. What happens is the signs all switch when we multiply through by a negative. Now let's say solve both. -2x equals -6 divided by -2 divided by -2. X equals 3. Okay, that's 1, 3. And this one's going to be +7 on both sides. 2x equals 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 4. So now we got 3 and 4. So notice the pattern has all of a sudden switched. Students start to do these first 2 problems and they're like, if I get an 8 here, it's got to be a -8 too. Could be. It is here. But look what happened here. It was a 3 when we solved one way and a 4 when we solved the other way. This is x equals 3 and x equals 4. X has 2 answers. X has 2 values that work for this particular situation. All right, solve. So we're going to do it again. So 9 minus 2x equals 3, just like it's written. And now swap the signs of the terms inside the absolute value bars. So -9 plus 2x equals 3. Okay, so -9 minus 9. -2x equals -6 divided by -2 divided by -2. X equals negative is positive, 3. So 3 is one of the answers. And we're going to add 9 to both sides. So 2x equals 12 divided by 2, x equals 6. All right, so now 3 and 6. Now, what does this mean? I mean, students are like, okay, what now? How do I get this? Well, go back to the original. Let's just prove this out, okay, before we finish this whole thing without doing this once. If we have a 9 minus 2x in an absolute value symbol equals 3, let's take 3. That would be negative 6 right here. So 9 minus 6 would be 3. An absolute value means 3, and does 3 equal 3? Check, so this works. Now take the 6. This would be a minus 12. 9 minus 12 is a negative 3. But a negative 3 in an absolute value symbol is positive 3, and 3 does equal 3, so this works too. Both answers work because the absolute value symbol changes the dynamics of the problem. So let's keep going. Do this regular like we see it, and solve it for the negative. Positive 6x minus 3 equals 27. And we're only changing the signs inside of the absolute value symbol because that's all we have to. We're definitely not changing over here. There's no instruction to do so, right? It remains whatever it is. So that's minus 3 on both sides, or subtract 3 on both sides. Negative 6x equals 27 minus 3 is 24, divided by negative 6, divided by negative 6. X equals, there's a negative here, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So negative 4 plus 3 on both sides. 6x equals 30, divided by 6, divided by 6. X equals 5. So two answers, negative 4 and 5. One more, same procedure. 2x plus 6 equals 10. Negative 2x minus 6 equals 10. Minus 6, 2x equals 4. And divided by 2, x equals 2. There's one answer. Add 6 to both sides. Negative 2x equals 16 divided by negative 2. And x equals negative 8. So two answers, 2 and negative 8. Okay, so please match up the title of the video with the practice problem set you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense, right? This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's the 5th unit called Equations Review. And it's the lesson called Absolute Value Equations Practice, and it is lesson number 8. It's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. Hope this helps.